right, just going back to Arkansas and then moving on to Georgia. After going back and thoroughly watching the video and dissecting it, kind of the same things we spoke about in the post-game press conference. I thought there was series throughout the course of the game that we played well enough to win. The thing right now is just the overall high level of consistency from series to series, from play to play, especially in extended drives when we're on offense or defense and it's play 3, play 4, play 5, play 7 of a drive. And we play well, and then we may have a mental error, we may have something go there. And so that will be a point of contention all week long, is just maintaining our focus as an entire football team. When you look at us offensively, we need to have more big splash plays. We need more big plays. It's hard to play perfect in this conference. It's hard to drive the ball for an extended period of plays or length without big plays. So we need to manufacture more big plays. Defensively, eye discipline, especially when you're playing a play-action football team. And then I don't think it's any secret we have to do a much better job of tackling, especially in the open field. And just all 11 playing together. Tough times challenge you, but I really, really, truly believe they form who you are. You find out a lot about yourself. Our players have been resilient. They've done a very good job. They understand what needs to happen in moving forward. So is our coaches, but football's like life, just sped up a lot faster. And we're going to rely on these experiences, and it's going to make us better. But we do have to own it. We have to own everything that's happened. It starts with me. First and foremost, and then we have to go and we have to get better. We have to change it. But to sit here and look at it as where we are, when you take the emotion out of it, I still see us improving as a football team. I still see us getting better week in and week out. And there's 3 things I look for if a football team has lost their edge, they've lost their competitive character, and those 3 things have not occurred. Number 1 is turnover margin. We're taking care of the football offensively. We've taken the ball away defensively. We still need to create more turnovers. You look at the performance of our special teams. I think the special teams tell you the dynamics of a football team. And right now we're excelling in the game of special teams, and those are individuals really, really embracing their roles in our football program. And then you look at our penalties. We've been a disciplined football team. So this football team is comprised of good character individuals, and we'll go back to work at it today and work to improve. And I know everybody hurts. I hurt along with everyone, but just like in life, you have to get up. You really, in these times, find out who's with you, who's against you, and you just write it down. You put it in your back pocket, and you file it away for future reference. And we're going to be fine. We got a resilient group of kids, and we're going to continue to make progress and move forward. So Georgia comes in, very, very, very talented football team, a complete football team. When you look at them defensively, play a number of guys up front, and really that's what you look at when you look at a program. How many guys do they play in the defensive line? And they play a number of individuals. They have the luxury of being very, very deep there. Great linebacking core. I think that's shown with the top prospects in our conference. And then a very talented secondary that can give you different looks. They give you multiple looks, so they do a great job schematically. Offensively, we understand the depth that they have at running back and Nick Chubb and the entire running back core. A very big, strong, veteran, physical offensive lineman, good receivers, quarterback. All he has to do is manage the football game. So it's going to be a great challenge with a great football team coming in here on Saturday. As of right now, if we do get all the helmets in, I do want to announce that it'll be a smoky gray game. So we will debut our smoky gray uniforms, which does not help you win a football game, but I know everyone's been looking forward to that and looking forward to starting this week off today. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
When you're breaking down the film and you're looking at the game, dissecting it afterwards, at what point do do you look at it and say maybe some things that we're doing are just not working and we have to adjust, whether it be personnel or approach or however it is? At what point do you start to say that?
You say it right from the get-go. We have a checklist, and I watch both sides of the ball. I have cut-ups made, but I also like the continuous game. So you spend a lot of time dissecting, and you dissect it. Is it scheme? Is it fundamentals and details? Is it personnel? So we do that all the time. That has never changed. And I think if you were to come in and watch video in the eyes of a coach, it would really change your perspective, because you sit there and it's a team sport. And a lot of times Saturday, in all three phases, we're one player away, one execution away, one detail, one fundamental away. And that's usually the case, and that's the thing, is getting all 11 individuals. But, Seth, we talk about that. We look at that at every stage of the game, even breaking down third downs and first downs, so a lot goes into that.
You said on Saturday you were going to meet with your seniors and with your team. How did you feel coming away from that meeting after you spoke with them?
Very encouraged. This is a very resilient group. It's a prideful group. They're very realistic. They understand. And the message was very, very simple. And I always talk the truth. I speak the truth. And the truth of the matter is, we're a good football team. And we've lost to three very, very good opponents. I think we're seeing that now, really over a period of time. We're seeing that. And what are we, 11 points away? But what are we doing to gain those 11 points? It's the consistency and performance. It's the focus. It's, Seth, the fundamentals, the eye discipline, all those things that we can control. But I want our players to understand that we're a good football team. And it's a long football season ahead of us, and it's making us better. And I told them they're going to refer back to this, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, whether it's 3 years from now, maybe it's 10 years from now in their life. They're going to refer back to this moment in time, and this is forging us. It's making us closer, and it's making us who we are. We have to own it and move on. And our kids were outstanding. They've been outstanding all year.
Butch, you said that you feel like you need to generate more splash plays. Is that to do that? Is that a change in some schemes? How do you guys push the ball downfield more? I mean, is that more of a scheme change that you need to make, or is that guys just need to make more plays?
Combination. It's, you look at all big games or great wins, and you point to a moment in that game where somebody steps up and makes a play. And that's what we spoke to our football team, too, about, is making plays at critical situations, making plays at critical moments in the game, and wanting to be that guy that wants the ball in his hands or wants the ball thrown at him. Or, you can go back to, even some games this year at critical moments of the game where we made, and it made a major impact in the outcome, or last year. And so, obviously sometimes it schemes based on what you're seeing, because each week is a new challenge, not just from personnel, but the different schemes you're going to see. So it puts different individuals on one-on-one matchups. And football is a game made up of one-on-one matchups across the board. Every position group is a one-on-one matchup. A three technique on an offensive guard, that's a one-on-one matchup. So there's so many things that go into that, but it's really making critical plays at critical stages of the game.
Butch, why was the zone read not a bigger part of this offense this week?
Well, I'm trying to go back. I believe we called the zone read 15 or 16 times. So again, remember, maybe to the naked eye, there's different nuances off of the zone read. A couple times where we threw the ball out on the perimeter, that's a zone read. It's based on the defensive look. This week, we arc released the tight end a little bit because of the drop-down safety and quarters coverage. So we did call a lot of the zone read. Sometimes we spit the ball out on quick screens. Sometimes it's a run-pass option with a throw down the field. A couple completions down the field were off the zone read scheme. So we call it, do we just blindly call the zone read and just call a one play with it? I think we did that probably 3 or 4 times.
Butch, 2 questions. One's kind of a follow-up on what Heather asked, but in terms of Dobbs didn't run it that much. Did Arkansas do things to take away his run? Secondly, an injury update.
Yep. Some of the things was Arkansas and different with their being safety activated the way they were, the way they played their linebackers. We did have some design runs called for him, and then a lot of them were run pass options as well, like we do every week. But there were some different nuances in the game plan, but a lot of it dictates on the looks that he sees, whether it's front, whether it's coverage, whether it's alignment of the linebackers. In terms of injury updates, Dylan Wiseman, we'll see. We got great news. It is not a high ankle sprain, so it's just, in his foot. So he'll be available for practice, so we'll see how that goes. Kyle Phillips will be out this week, so he'll be out. I'm trying to think. Marquez North, that was a game-time decision. He had stiffness in his lower back. He wasn't able to go, unfortunately, but we fully anticipate him being back ready to go. I'm sorry, and Pig Howard. Pig's has had a lot of nagging injuries. He's had an ankle, he's had an elbow, and then he also had a concussion that occurred in the Western Carolina game. And he's still suffering the effects of the concussion. He did not pass his impact test. He did not pass his concussion test last week, so that's why you haven't seen him.
Brian, Danny, and Michael in the back over there.
Butch, I know you said the passing game is all 11 people involved. Josh has only thrown the one interception this year. Is he being aggressive enough for you in the passing game, for one? And two, how well do you think he's seeing the field in the passing game?
Yeah, I do. I do think he's being aggressive. I think he's making good decisions with the football. The aggressiveness hasn't been really an issue. He knows where he's going with the football. He's done a very good job with that. What was your other question? Yeah. I think he's seeing the field. I think a lot of times, too, whether it's being a high vision or low vision, when the pocket collapses, when you take off and run, you're not seeing it. But I think he's done a fairly good job of that. There's a couple plays, like every game, we'd like to have back, particularly the second play of the game. But again, I thought he did a very good job Saturday of really getting the ball down to his second, third reads in the progression when they weren't there. And that's where you saw a bunch of the swing routes to our backs and really creating space for them. A lot of times that was his third read in the progression. Do we need to continue to progress and get better? Absolutely. But I see him, being aggressive, but it's just, we have to continue to execute as well. But I've been pleased with that part of it.
Danny in the back, Michael, Jonathan.
Coach, there are certain traits that you have to recruit, like foot speed for a DB, hands for a wide receiver. How much of a trait is accuracy for a quarterback? Kind of, he is what he is. How much can you improve being accurate throwing the football?
You can improve your accuracy every single day, and you throw with your feet, you throw with your lower body. So it's all about lower body mechanics and your lead foot and your plant foot, the bend in your knees. And we practice it all the time. We throw in the nets. Even when we warm up, we throw what we call strike points. So, in every pass concept, there's what we call a reception area. So the quarterback knows if we call this route concept, this reception area should occur here. And then there's also strike points on the receiver where the ball needs to be, so we can turn them into a runner. And that all goes in part of understanding everything that goes into the throw game. There's about 40 things that a quarterback has in a pre-snap checklist that can overwhelm you. But that's part of playing that position. But accuracy is something that I think that you can improve on all the time.
We're going to go to Jonathan, Steve in the front here.
Just kind of how difficult is it to tackle a running back like Georgia's Nick Chubb?
Well, it's a challenge because he possesses so many traits of being a great running back. He can get the tough yards. He can put his shoulder down. He has great burst, great acceleration, great pad level. But he can also make the second-level defender miss. And it really challenges your discipline. It challenges you with your eyes on your thighs. And in shrinking your base and coming to balance, but not stopping your feet. Where we ran into some issues Saturday night is we had a poor base and we stopped our feet. And you have to kind of work towards the defender with your eye discipline and never stopping your feet and running through contact. That's why we say drive for 5. But he challenges you because he can do all the things that a great back can do.
Steve in the front, then Patrick, then John Bryce.
Just around the league, there's been so much unpredictability this season already. Florida follows up the win over y'all by blowing out Ole Miss. Teams kind of beating up on one another. Is that something y'all can kind of take comfort in, just in being able to turn things around, just when you see so much balance around the league?
Absolutely. That's part of being in this football conference, and we talked about it with our football team. Is this is what we all signed up for? Is to compete in the toughest football conference in America, and I think you see that week in and week out. There are no easy games on our schedule. Every game is a challenge in and of itself, from parity in this league, from the quality from top to bottom. Anybody can win on any given game day, and that's what you have to focus on each and every day. And I said it takes a special individual to be able to compete at this level because of the mental toughness that is required from you, and a physical toughness, as well as a grind of a long season playing quality opponents week in and week out, and the amount of effort and energy that goes into preparing for your opponent on a week-to-week basis.
Patrick, John, Chuck, and then just a few more.
Butch, how did you think Khalil and Shai held up on Saturday night?
I was very encouraged. I thought Shai played the best game he's played all year. When you see, 300-plus pounds, I thought his effort was outstanding. He was able to win some one-on-one matchups in the pass protection area against the offensive linemen. I thought Khalil did some very good things of holding his gap and being active. So when we watched the film, we were very, very encouraged with those two individuals. They did a very, very good job.
John, then Chuck.
Which sort of a multi-part question here. First of all, you've said a few times now you guys have to coach better and you have to do better starting at the top down. How specifically do you all need to coach better?
I think first of all is holding our players responsible to a high level, a high standard of excellence in terms of fundamentals and the small details of what it takes to play winning football consistently. It all starts with fundamentals. The fundamentals of the game of football never change. Blocking, tackling, executing our systems. That's on us as coaches to make sure that we hold them accountable and we practice it and they understand that from day one, and our players will do that. They want to learn, they want to get better, but first and foremost, it starts with me. Being very detailed driven. Right now, I think we lack, if you said what's the major improvement in our football team, it's the small details. It's doing the little things correctly that add up to the big things. It may just your eye discipline, understanding down and distance, communication, understanding splits, understanding stances of a defensive lineman. Those are all small things that add up to the execution of big things. And we just have to make sure that we continue to stress those like we have and continue to work to put our players in situations to be successful. And then for me, keeping this football team and this football program on the right track, which we will do that, and keeping the positivity. And again, I see us making progress. Unfortunately, it's not shown on the scoreboard, but eventually it will.
And then kind of on injury front, you've talked about wanting to get Quentin involved, especially we keep seeing Josh take quite a few hits every week.
Right.
Do you still want to try and integrate Quentin into your offense? And then you said it was good news on Dylan, but if he's not able to go, what do you do there?
Well, we'll continue to have competition there. Matt Crowder did some good things when he entered the game. I thought Jack Jones continues to get better. He's really, really worked in terms of his pass protection skills. He's done a very good job with that. So we'll continue to have competition for those spots, and all those individuals get valuable repetitions throughout the course of the week. So that's one thing we feel very comfortable with. But, I thought our offensive line in general did some very, very good things. Saturday, I thought we protected the passer. But again, we need to continue to build that depth, and there'll be competition there. And, I think the health of Jay Sean, too. Jay Sean hasn't been able to finish a game yet. And so I give him a lot of credit. He's gotten through it. He does continue to get better on the health front. So I see him getting better there. It's just a matter of time of healing up. But there's an individual who, you talk about true grit. That's Jay Sean Robertson. He brings it every day in practice, and he grinds his way through. And I'm really appreciative of him and his leadership. Dormady, yeah, we would still like to continue to progress and get him in, and Quentin's done some very good things, and just his overall command, like I've talked about before, of the offense. So a lot of times it's just where the game is and how it dictates, but he has earned our trust.
Butch, Heather, Seth, and Dustin, and that's it.
Butch, stepping away from over here,
I'm sorry.
away from Georgia and Arkansas for a minute. Friday, you addressed the Hawkins County team. How could you, as a football coach and a concerned human, just discuss getting ready to go play, suffering the tragedy they just suffered?
Well, you know what? I really, really appreciate you bringing that up. And that's probably, I don't want to get emotional, but that's probably one of the most rewarding days I've had as a football coach. And to be able to spend time with that football team, with that family, and put my arms around them and just see the joy in their eyes of being here, but also the pain in their eyes. And that's what life is all about. And for me, it put everything back into perspective about what life is supposed to be about. And it's, it's about caring, it's about giving, and it's about being there for people. And that was probably very therapeutic for me, but it was very rewarding. And I appreciate you bringing that up.
Which with Alvin Kamara, would you like to get him at least 10, 12, 15 touches a game?
Yes, in all facets, in the return game, in the throw game, in the run game. So I think what we've seen is Alvin does a great job when we create space, but also he can run the ball inside the tackles as well. He's been a great team player. He's been one of those vocal individuals as well. So we would like to get him his hands on the ball as much as possible.
Heather in the back, then Seth and Dustin.
Butch, why do you like to play McKenzie and Tuttle next to each other instead of maybe splitting those guys up and putting them next to veterans?
Well, first of all, we're still young. Really, if you talk veterans, Owen Williams is in his second year, and so is Vic. So really, we're still youthful there. And I'll tell you this, Owen Williams, and the way he's playing right now, he's playing his best football. And I talked about him last night, is he had an effort play that was remarkable that he would have never played a year ago, that he would have made. And how far he's come in our football program, I've been very proud of him. But, I think Shai and Khalil's skill sets complement each other, just like, Vickers and Owen's skill set as well. And we need to still continue to develop depth there and recruit depth there because we're still not there yet. But I think it was the first time where we didn't have to move them around with not playing an up-tempo offense, so we were able to do some different things that we ask of them in the run game and the throw game.
Coach, I have it on really good authority that there was a physical altercation at some point between you and a player. Is there anything you can comment about that?
Yeah, absolutely ridiculous.
I just wanted to follow up on the injury stuff. One, what's Kyle Phillips' injury, and do you expect him to be out beyond this week? And also, Pig Howard, do you have reason to believe that he might be back this week?
Yeah.
Or where do kind of things stand for him going forward?
Kyle Phillips, we're hoping that he could be back for Alabama. And it was a shoulder. It's something that he's had some issues with in the past. But we anticipate right now with having this week off and the bye week that he'd be available for Alabama. Alden Howard's status is when it's a concussion, it's a matter of time. It's seeing how that goes. So I will not know. He'll have to take his impact test again, and there's a lot of testing that goes into that before we put an individual back on the field. Thank you. All right, thank you.